Thanks, Lesco Corla. Minister, I'm absolutely delighted to have the opportunity here this evening to speak to this motion at a time when workers here in Ireland have never needed a living wage more than they do at this point. And yet, the Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, who are noticeable in their absence, response to this reality is to say no to an increase in the minimum wage and no to a living wage for these workers. Only 2 weeks ago, our friends here in their absence this evening brought childcare workers, early years educators into the AV room to outline the many reasons, and believe me, there are many reasons why, as to why these professionals in the childcare sector need a living wage. Fianna Fáil did not secure an increase in the minimum wage for these workers, let alone a living wage. Not for the first time, Fianna Fáil have failed to deliver for workers. They are, of course, the party that cut the minimum wage when workers in this state were on their knees. Now, even in a time of supposed economic growth, Fianna Fáil are failing workers again. In response to this motion here tonight, the government will tell us, as they have done before, that Ireland has the second highest minimum wage in Europe. That is a fact. But what about the fact that Ireland has the highest childcare costs in Europe? Dublin is now the 5th most expensive city to rent anywhere in Europe. Drivers and householders pay some of the highest insurance premiums anywhere in Europe. And Ireland is the most expensive country out of 28 nations in the EU to run a household. In fact, a Eurostat report released in June shows that the cost of living here in Ireland and paying for house costs, rent, water, gas, electricity and maintenance is almost 57% higher than the EU average. So, when you put all of that together, the minimum wage being the second highest in Europe actually means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. Last year, in their Poverty Focus report, Social Justice Ireland found that more than 100,000 people with jobs live in poverty. There is something very wrong when being in employment condemns a person to live in poverty. And of course, these are the people that get up early, as our Taoiseach Leo Varadkar likes to tell our citizens on a regular basis. Get up, get out to work, and it will lead to a better lifestyle. But these people are living in poverty. And in fact, in a way, the government actually facilitates this, because as of last month, there were 52,074 people in receipt of the Working Family Payment. The government spent an estimated €430 million in 2018, topping up poor wages in order to try and prevent in-work poverty. If these workers were receiving the living wage, this wage top-up from the state would no longer be required. So instead of supplementing poor wages for workers, the government should be dealing with the actual issue, and that is clearly the inadequacy of the minimum wage, which does not protect those who get up early in the morning and go out to work. Of course, this feeds into the already worrying attitude of government when it comes to workers within this state. You don't want to give them a measly 30-cent increase in the minimum wage, and that was outlined quite clearly by yourself, Minister, last week, although it's being contradicted this afternoon by Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, who completely undermines your position and also contradicts the amendment by government here this evening. On one hand, he's saying it will be rolled out in January, and your amendment states no clear timeline whatsoever. So you are basically all over the place on that. Minister, you don't want to pay these people a living wage. You don't want to give them a legal entitlement to the tips that they earn. And when it comes to recouping money owed to the state, you choose to go after those who rely on social welfare supports, older people, people with a disability, job seekers, rather than the big business who use bogus self-employment tactics in order to avoid paying PRSI. That is what Fine Gael offers workers. I am proud to be part of a political party that not only represents workers, but will, in government, pay them a living wage, something that they thoroughly deserve. Gormagat.